No matter what I do, the weight always comes back. No matter what I do, I can't lose the weight. No matter what I do, I can't make a change. If you've been saying that for the last month, for the last several years, doesn't matter. I'm going to explain to you why this happens. It's why lottery winners go broke. It's why athletes go broke. It's why people will lose weight and gain it all back. Anywhere from 80 to 95% of people will lose weight and gain it back. And I'm going to explain to you why this is. And this is something that I ran into yesterday. And it's something that I'm really passionate about because it held me back and cost me a lot. Cost me my D1 career. It cost me a lot, created a lot of pain for me in my younger 20s. And it still creates pain for me because it is the number one thing that you've got to address when it comes to making long-term changes. And so, why do professional athletes go broke? 78% of professional athletes go broke after 3 years. What's really interesting is that when you look at weight loss studies, 80 to 85% of people will regain the weight back in a similar amount of time span. So, what gives? So, I want to talk about a story that happened the other day where I was talking to someone who's in the community doing the 30-day challenges. And he was just like, yeah, I'd go to the gym, but I'm just a lazy POS, and so I haven't been able to go. And I was just like, "Whoa, what did you just say?" He's like, "Yeah, I'd go to the gym." And then I was like, "No, the other part." He's like, "Oh, I'm just a lazy POS. That's why I don't go." And I was like, "That right there is your problem. I am a lazy POS." People do not understand the power of language and that everything you say is just a reflection of your internal thoughts and beliefs. And you might not notice it. It might go super subtle in how you talk to yourself, in how you talk to other people. It might seem super benign, but if you were to record yourself on screen the entire day and listen to the language you use about yourself or about the things that you're trying to achieve, and if it is not positive, belief focused, and enabled, you are basically just sabotaging yourself. And it is a matter of time until you go back to the core belief that you have about yourself. And so I want to give a few examples of this, not only in the real world, one for myself, just so that, I'm not just preaching from the pulpit. I had a shirt in high school that was, "I am lazy but talented." It was a Nike shirt. I don't know how Nike came up with this. It was a terrible idea, but I wore this shirt like a badge of honor. And I'd say, "I'm lazy but talented." And that became my identity. I prided myself on my ability to do as minimal amount of work as possible in high school and still get a good grade. And what was weird is I would work really hard from a baseball standpoint. That's what enabled me to get a scholarship to Washington State University at the D1 level and play in the Pac-10 at the time. I'm dating myself a little bit. But then I continued to have that be my identity as I got to college. "Oh, I'm lazy but talented. Everyone else is going to go hit for 2 hours before practice, but I don't need to. I can just show up and play. Everyone else can work out or needs to work out, but I don't. I'm just naturally gifted. I just build muscle naturally." And it was so baked into my identity that when it came time to actually do the work or realize why I wasn't getting playing time, I thought, "Oh, coach don't like me. It's just, politics." And the reality is I wasn't putting in the work to get good enough. And so I was reverting back to my core belief of I don't need to do the work. I can just get by off of sheer talent alone. And no one can do that. Maybe you can do that for a year, 2 years. Maybe you can do that at a Division One level. But as soon as you get to a level to where things are now harder, the standard is higher, you're going to get kicked out, and you're you're not going to be able to make it. You're going to revert back to where you were. I'll give you guys a Star Wars universe example. I am a Mandalorian. Weapons are part of my religion. It's a great one-liner. It's a great meme. But what Din Djarin is saying here in that one sentence is, "I am a Mandalorian." That inside of it carries probably thousands of other beliefs and statements. I just wrote out a few. I am a Mandalorian, so I am proficient in multiple weapons. That's just part of who I am. That is my identity. I'm a Mandalorian. Mandalorians always seek a challenge. You're not going to see Mandalorians back down from a fight. That's why he goes and takes on the Mudhorn. I am Mandalorian. I keep my emotions close to the vest. Mandalorians aren't out there just whining and crying and telling the world all their problems. They're getting after it and getting it done and not being victims to that. I'm a Mandalorian. I am resilient and tough. At this point, I'm just saying the exact same things because we know all of these different beliefs that a Mandalorian is going to go and exhibit. They're going to persevere. They're going to be determined. They're not going to give up at the first chance of hardship. But that sentence, I am a Mandalorian, what does a Mandalorian mean? What does it mean to be a Mandalorian? And you can apply this across the board. I am a runner. I am Catholic. I am someone who, a certain family. I mean, maybe it's your family name. Like, oh, I'm a Johnson. Johnsons don't back down. Like it's part of your identity. It's part of who you are, and it's the language that you use that will reflect your internal thoughts. And so, I want to just give some really tactical examples here. And after this video, I'll link to how you can really shift your identity through creating an alter ego, which is what this entire channel is about, and something that I'm really big on ever since I read it in Todd Herman's create the alter ego effect. So I am a failure. If you believe that, and here's the thing that's really hard about this is you might have had that told to you for years from a family member, from a sibling, from a bully, but you start to believe I am a failure. So every single time you go to start something, you say, oh, what's the point? I'm just going to fail. You don't even give yourself a chance to take action because you don't believe that it's possible because that's your identity. What's the next one? I am depressed, acting depressed. I'll tell you what, 3 years ago, my therapist I was seeing at the time was like, "Oh yeah, you're depressed," and I started behaving a little bit differently. And this isn't to go down the rabbit hole of mental health. I'm a big fan of getting help if you need it, but a lot of people can wear the identity of anxiety and depression and ADHD as a reason why they can't do things, and they play victimhood to why they're not able to get out of the hole that they're in, as opposed to just making changes. And maybe the reason why you're anxious is because you're not taking action on the things you need to take action on, right? So I'm not a morning person. So you're going to struggle waking up. But what's funny is a lot of people will say, I'm not a morning person. And then they get a dog or a puppy. And then bam, morning person, up at 5 a.m., walking the dog, picking up poop. And it's like, you will do that for the dog, but you're not a morning person. You won't do that for yourself. Interesting. It's a belief system. I'm a lazy POS. This is the whole thing that triggered you wanting to make this. The guy was lounging on the couch for hours, 40 hours overweight, wouldn't do the work that he knew he wanted to do because he was miserable and embarrassed in the life that he was living. But he literally was saying, I'm a lazy POS. How are you ever supposed to grow beyond taking the actions of someone that you don't even believe you are? You won't. You'll always revert back to what you believe about yourself. I'm worthless. You're going to act unworthy. You're going to discount yourself. You're going to lower yourself to other people, despite might having all the traits and abilities and qualities of being worthy. And so I'll use kind of the alter ego that we use on this channel. I am Captain Rex, or I'm like Captain Rex. I'm a trooper, right? It's creating this identity of what would Captain Rex do. If you don't think that this works, go into the 1990s, the early 2000s, and look at every single person wearing a WWJD bracelet. What would Jesus do? It was, what would Jesus do? Okay, he would act this way. I'm going to make an identity choice in that direction. And so Captain Rex, guy has leadership. He's determined. He's creative in how he solves problems. One of the things I loved in this book, The Alter Ego Effect by Todd Herman, is they did a study on kids and said, hey, you guys just act as you guys pretend you're Batman. And the kids that were Batman stayed at tasks longer because they would say Batman doesn't give up. And this is what Eminem did with Marshall Mathers did with Eminem. This is what Kobe Bryant had with Mamba Mentality. Bruce Wayne had Batman. Peter Parker had Spider-Man. Beyonce had, Sasha Fierce was Beyonce's alter ego. It's all over from a performance standpoint and making that identity shift. And so if you're trying to say, all right, I want to be the best dad in the world, or you say, I am the best dad in the world, how does the best dad in the world behave if you're trying to lead by example and get healthy? Well, got a very clear option in terms of making choices and what I need to do. And so I just want to kind of give this last little graph because a lot of people get discouraged as to where they're at. But where you're at is just an indication of the beliefs that you had a year ago. And where you're going to be is going to be a result of the beliefs that you have now. So your current life is a result of your previous actions. Those previous actions were dictated by your previous thoughts and beliefs. Your future life is going to be a result of the beliefs that you have right now. Will it take time to shift those beliefs? Yes, absolutely. If you did heroin a year ago, but not today, are you a heroin addict? The results of your life, the health of your body might dictate that. But I would say if you're not actually doing that right now, you're not. And so, but let's say you're 250 pounds, 300 pounds, and you're saying, man, I don't feel confident. Well, if you're taking the actions of someone who's lost 150 pounds, lost 100 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever, You're doing the work. Time just hasn't caught up yet. And so who you are is really based on what you believe about yourself and the actions that you're taking today. Time will catch up when you stick with that. But it starts with changing your beliefs. It starts with changing what you say about yourself. And coming back around to this whole point of why people gain the weight back, they change their actions through a diet or a system or something that will manipulate the science to get them the result, but they never change the belief they have about themselves. They never change the belief they have about junk food, about alcohol, about when they should let loose or how often they should let loose. And the people who actually make it a lifestyle change are really the ones who change upstairs in what they view as value or what they see as a life value or a core value or what they believe. And if you want to maintain any change that you create, you have to change how you see yourself and what you believe about the world. Again, coming back to the whole like lottery winner, a lottery winner is someone out there just gambling to try and make some money most of the time. Then they make the money, but their identity and their beliefs and their habits around money never shifted. So they got an external result, but they're just going to revert back to maintenance unless they change their thoughts and habits and beliefs about money. So, weight loss, money, sports, whatever, change your beliefs, start with your identity, be super conscious of what you're doing. Like I said, I got a video that I'm going to link to right here that you can watch an alter ego shift, but like writing down affirmations, belief statements, and even just catching yourself saying things like, oh, I can't do this. Like that's a belief that you have about yourself. You're never going to exist beyond that. So, hope that motivated some of you. Hopefully, you make some change. Hopefully, it opens some eyes. And if it did, drop it down in the comments. I'll catch you guys on the next Trooper Transmission. Hit that like, subscribe button if you want to catch more. And be sure and start those 30-day Train Like a Trooper challenges to get off the couch and get moving. And if you want to learn more about coaching and working together, that's going to be down in the description as well. All right. Catch you guys next.